What's good, YouTube? This is Joe from Team Shipbox coming to you with my Richmond regional deck profile. I had a lot of requests of people wanting to know what this deck was, and so I decided to put it up. I didn't do so great in the regionals, not as well as I wanted to say. I ended up having to drop round 7 or something because I knew I wasn't going to top with it at that point. So I went and got into a win a match, and that's where a lot of people, win a match, and that's where a lot of people saw what this deck could do. It is counter fairies with the little twist on it. I found it to be one of the best choices. I went into the regional not caring very much about it. I was going to, just play it out, see how it did. And it turned out to be a pretty pleasant surprise when I ended up beating Sam's, Lightsworn, 2 wind-up decks, Frog Monarchs. I mean, it wins. I can't explain it, but let's just dive into the deck. I'll let you guys take a look at it. I'll talk some strategy at the end and everything. That way, if you really didn't want to hear about strategy and all that fun stuff, you don't have to stick around. So, start us off. You get 3 Bountiful Artemis. It's the main engine of the deck. You draw 1 off of every counter trap, which is amazing. I mean, it just gives you pluses all around the board. So, clearly you're going to need to run 3. 3 Thunder King. One of the best first turn plays in the game right now is Summon Thunder King, set 2 back row end, especially in this deck because you can only assume that back row is going to be some sort of Divine Wrath, Solemn Warning, Dark Bribe. So, I mean, you have a lot of options to protect your Thunder King here, and his effect is amazing, so you can't beat that. Next cards, 2 Silent Swordsman level 5. This card is awesome. It won me my semifinal in the win-a match. It won me in Swiss against the wind-ups. People throw down cards like Messenger of Peace, and this card walks right through. So a lot of times people will set a back row and play Messenger of Peace and end, assuming that, everything in this deck is fairly high attack, well over 1400. And you play this guy, and he just walks right through. He's an amazing, amazing card. I was really happy with my decision to play him. People, especially with a lot of the cards like, Dark Hole out here, he walks through Dark Hole, he walks through Soul Taker, he walks through Enemy Controller. I mean, there's a lot. He walks, he goes through Forbidden Lance, so people try to lance you and stuff like that to get over it. It doesn't happen. So I was really happy with my decision to play him. 2 Vendalgion, he's really big in the deck. He won me a couple games. People really don't see him coming, and that's the greatest part about him, is his ability to have the element of surprise. And, he's a 2800 beater. 2 Effect Veiler. It's really, really good in the format right now. I mean, Effect Veiler single-handed me won I won a match semifinal. The guy summoned wind-up rat, and I Effect Veilered it while I had Silent Swordsman level 5 on the field, so it couldn't change the defense mode. And I remember the last thing he said to me, he was like, so he isn't affected by spells, is he? And I was like, no, sir. So that walked right over that rat for game. Now into my one-ofs of the deck. I have 1 Cyber Dragon just because he has a really good first-turn plays. Or I should say, your first turn if you go second. I mean, being able to get a 2100 beater on the field for practically nothing is amazing. 1 Silent Swordsman level 3. I was running 2, and then I trimmed it down to 1. He's good because he gets out. He gets out the Silent Swordsman level 5 quick, especially if you end up being able to protect him. So he's good, but his attack and everything it's not enough for me, and it cost too much compensation out of my traps, like to try to protect him, and stuff that I'd rather have where I could just, have a Thunder King instead or something else. 1 Spirit Reaper, this card's amazing. People have a tough time getting over it regardless. A DD Warrior Lady and a DD Assailant, both of which turned out really well for me. People run into that with stuff that clearly doesn't have 1600 attack. It's fun to attack into Sangan with. This is fun to set and bait people into hitting. I mean, they're both really, really good cards. Honest, 90% of the stuff in this deck is light. And it's great protection for those Bountiful Artemis. I mean, I remember one game I was able to summon Artemis, set Bribe, Solemn Warning, Solemn Judgment, and the Huge Revolution is over, and had this in hand. And from there, it was just gained advantage. Now onto my traps, because I like to talk to them before I talk about the magics. Anti-Spell Fragrance. Like I said, this was like a random thought to put in this deck. I didn't really think that it would do so well against the meta. This card wins games, man, especially against Samurais. My round 1 was against a Samurai player, and I went first, set Dark Bribe, Solemn Warning, summoned Thunder King, and set this, and he literally had to set everything face down. And during my turn, I mean, the Sam deck isn't really trap heavy, so it really didn't have any advantage from there on out. I mean, it was awesome. It was a great choice to play. 2 Solemn Warnings, counter trap, awesome. Negate summons, negate cards, all sorts of fun stuff. They're pretty self-explanatory. Divine Wrath, another really good card in this deck that beat windups, beat Sams. Well, not necessarily Sams as much as windups, but this card is amazing. 2 Dark Bribes. I'm going to run a third if I take this to College Park next weekend. This card is awesome. Negates Heavy Storms, Dark Holes, Monster Reborns. They draw 1, big deal, because you get rid of their boss magic cards, and you draw a card if you have Biome for Artemis. So it literally replaces itself. 2 Deep Prisons. Protect those Bountiful Artemis. Protect those, I don't know, Thunder Kings if you want to keep them on the field. It's a really good card. It doesn't destroy, so it gets over cards with 3 effects that can't be destroyed, with effects that can't be destroyed by card effects. Huge Revolution is over. People did not see that coming. Chose that over Starlight Road for the draw power that it gives you with Bountiful Artemis. It was awesome, to say the least. And it gets rid of stupid cards like Judgment Dragon. They pay that 1,000. Boom. Bye-bye, Judgment Dragon. And so this is a really good card, especially in this deck. I actually don't know if I'd run it in many other decks, but it went really, really well in this. I'm trying to think of a really, really big play that they had. I think I had this face down and a Thunder King on the field, and they had a set monster and went to Dark Hole. And because Dark Hole would destroy theirs and mine, I was able to activate that, save my Thunder King, all fun stuff like that. Another good card, Drastic Drop-Off. Plays really well against heroes. Plays really well against windups when they go to search with that factory. I just don't know with its consistency in this deck. I understand it's a 1-for-1 and it sets your opponent back a turn, but I don't know. It doesn't. You don't necessarily know what you're hitting, and you could just hit something completely worthless that they're really not worried about. So I might take that. I'm thinking about taking that out for the 3rd Dark Bribe. Compulsory, card's amazing. Gets over a lot of big monsters. Sends Shinings back to hand. Sends what's another one? It's really good. Solemn Judgment, counter trap, negates just about anything. Awesome. Black Horn of Heaven, essentially free, and could essentially replace itself if you had that Bountiful Artemis. So that's awesome. Mirror Force and Torrential. I couldn't decide on running 2 of either, so I decided 1 of each, and it worked out pretty well. Like I said, I didn't do as well in the regionals as I wanted to, but the deck was definitely really competitive. So that's it for traps, guys. We'll move over to magics now. 2 Pot of Duality. You have to be able to dig for stuff. It's a decently high monster count, but you don't want to be stuck with 2 Vendalgion's, Effect Veilers, and 2 traps in your hand, kind of stuff like that. So this is really good for that kind of instance. 2 MSTs, side the 3rd. The reason I think I would have done better is if I would have sided better, or built a better side deck in this event. This card saved me 3 matches being able to have this when they played that decree. So, like I said, I mean, it's essentially a staple. And then 2 staples in Dark Hole and Monster Reborn. Didn't run Heavy Storm for my large amount of back row that I didn't want to minus from that. I'd rather just, if they had back row, I'd rather just be able to try to push through it than me having to get rid of mine and theirs, stuff like that. So that's the main deck, guys. It was pretty awesome. I really enjoyed myself and made a lot of people really, really, really upset. It was pretty juicy, starting off 2-0, beating Sams and windups. Very few people probably come out of that matchup on top with a deck like this, so I was pretty excited. But we'll head on to the extra deck, which I didn't use in a whole lot. One Utopia, one Mace Stroke, one Butterfly. Mace Stroke saved me a lot of games. Photon Pillar Pop won me a game. Utopia, I'd rather go into either of these two before I go into Utopia. Oh, this video is getting long. I apologize, guys. Level 3s, Leviathan, Giga Brilliant, Zen Mains, Acid Golem, Tempo. Now, when I sided in the second level 3 Silent Swordsman, I was able to make these guys a couple times. Tempo saved me against when the guy I was against a wind-up deck. I had to set Zen Mains. He takes Zen Mains shit and makes him beefy. So that was pretty cool. Other than that, I really didn't make anything. I contemplated making Acid Golem once, but Acid Golem, I can't justify making him in many instances. My Synchros, 2 level 5s and a Stardust. Wayne is pretty good in this. There's a good amount of warriors in here. Catastor is Catastor, and Stardust is Stardust. And then my Fusion is Chimera Tech. I never got him out, but in the instance where I could have, he would have essentially been game. I didn't draw into the Cyber Dragon fast enough against one of the wind-up decks. And the guys drew the nuts the first turn. So, I mean, there's not much you can do against wind-ups. I mean, I guess I'm assuming a lot of people would say, if wind-ups draw the nuts first turn, you're probably going to lose that match. So, that's the deck, guys. I don't even know what to call it, to be honest with you. But it's a lot of fun. If you guys like the video, give it a thumbs up. Rate, comment, subscribe to everything we have. Look at our other content. We have some pretty good stuff on our channel. Check out a shout out to our buddies that we went with. Brian McDermott, and his channel is The Juice Express. Check that out. He's got a lot of good trade material on there. He's willing to buy, sell, trade, all that fun stuff. So if you guys are looking to offload some cards or gain some cards, he's a good guy to see. Another good friend of ours that we went with, Robbie Stargell. He judged the event and can't say he was too happy about it, but I mean, he seemed to have a good time. We all actually had a pretty decent time, just the late hours, being tired and everything. Check out his channel, MechVamp6 or something like that. I don't remember it exactly. I apologize, Robbie. But, guys, just keep it up. We'll see you guys when we see you. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.